M.phil student, if you are doing your research as only M.phil level, you have to do 2 presentations. Only M.phil level. If you are doing only M.phil level, at the time you have to do 2 presentations. First presentation is on the research proposal. It's me with the 6 months from the registration. Even though within 6 months, sometime after 1 year, some student after, for example, they according to the many situation, after 1 year we could do our presentation, first proposal presentation. But a rule is a rule. So keeping catch according to the rules to your research. And then for explaining the original contribution and outcome of research is into 24 months after the registration. It's me if you are doing your free research only as M.phil level. So 18 to 20, it's me after 18 months, it's me after 1.5 years, you could complete it. If you are able, you could complete it, you are research as M.phil level. Another one is you can ask more time, so it's mean 2 years. 2 years. Their base limitation is 2 years for M.phil full-time student. About this, I will discuss in the next slides. No, here. And this is for these 2 steps only for the research as M.phil level. But the next step is if requesting and upgrading from the Master of Philosophy M.phil to Doctor of Philosophy PhD level, just for upgrading. So 12 months to 18 months after the registration. It's me here, according to the institute, you could upgrade your M.phil level research into PhD level research. But within 18 months, you can upgrade your research from M.phil to PhD. Anyway, at least before PhD level, you have to do it 2 times presentation. Presentation 2 times. First one, at least one. First one is within 6 months as a proposal presentation. Second time is as a M.phil level, only M.phil level is the final presentation for M.phil. But if you are upgrading, so you have to do some kind of presentation to upgrade your research into PhD level within 6 months, 1.5 years, but sometime after 2 years. Even though you have already completed your research, but sometimes the institute could not arrange the presentation for you. For example, sometimes there are not enough students. For example, only you, even though you have already submitted your request letter to do your upgrade presentation, but only you have already submitted, no other student. So at that time, the institute could not arrange a presentation for you because there is only you, only one. So that time they usually don't arrange the presentation for the student. So they usually wait for 3 to 5 students, usually 5. Whenever there's the presentation, there are at least 5 students to do presentation in our institute, I noticed, but sometimes 3 students. Okay, then for PhD level also you have to do 2 times presentation. PhD level student, only you are doing PhD. Because for some student, if you are relevant to apply PhD level directly, for such a student, you also have to do 2 times presentation 2 times. First one saying within 6 months from registration. The second one is explaining the original contribution outcome of research. 24 to 36 months. It's me after 2 months if you completed your research, if you are able. Because there was one student, most of you already know, most of you who are doing research here in Sri Lanka, here in our institute, they know the month. He could complete his research, and then within 3 months. After 2.5 years, he already completed. He has already completed. Then he did his final presentation. So it's me, after 2 years, if you are able to complete your research, you can do your final presentation as a PhD. This is directly doing PhD program. The first one is M.phil. Okay. Then upgraded me M.phil level to PhD level. Usually here in Myanmar student, they usually start M.phil level. Their research start from M.phil level. Then they usually upgrade it. But some student from Myanmar, they directly apply as a PhD level student. To apply for a PhD level student, when you did your M.phil at the time, you must did 2 years of every program. Not only that, you must write. You have to write it and research for your M.phil, your MA degree. For such a student, they can apply directly to PhD level here, PhD program. Otherwise, mostly here, Myanmar students they usually do MA program for 1 year. Then we apply for M.phil. We start our research from M.phil level. Then we try to upgrade our research from M.phil level to PhD level here. This is the difference. Okay, if you have any question after this, you can ask me. Please note your question about if I'm confusing you. Please note it after my discussion. You can ask me. Okay, then I will answer your question. Next slide, please. Upgrade into PhD level requirements. To upgrade your M.phil level research into PhD level, there are requirements. Those are requirements. Requirement means not the reason. Requirement reason very different. Okay? 12 months regimen from the date of registration. Even though whether this man you can upgrade it. Even though they say 18 months, but after 2 years you can upgrade it. It depends on the recommendation of your supervisor and the academic book. Over 50% of the research. This means you have to complete 50% of your research. This means usually from Myanmar student after they completed 2 chapters, usually they upgrade their research into PhD level. But sometimes you can upgrade your research just before you finish your final chapter. For example, in your research in M.phil level, you have already completed 4 chapters, but you have 1 more chapter to upgrade. You can upgrade it. After this, you could complete it. Your research as a PhD level. Such all, this also they could accept it. This also could happen. Recommendation of the supervisor and the head of the department concerned. These are the requirements. As I mentioned, your supervisor is next or second most important person after you in your research. He is the second most important person. Second important person in your research. So his recommendation, you must have his recommendation. There were some students from Myanmar. They studied their research as M.phil level and then they tried to upgrade it, but their supervisor didn't accept it. Their supervisor didn't give a recommendation. So those students had to complete their research as M.phil. Maybe they completed or not, I'm not sure, but at least their supervisor didn't give a recommendation. So this one is very important before you. When you are discussing about the lecture, about your research at the time, you must say, I will do my research as a PhD level. I want to do. So you must clearly mention it. Otherwise, they usually think, oh, you want to do your research as M.phil level. Because here, the local student, usually they do M.phil level research separately. Then they do another research as a PhD level. So they will think, if you didn't mention, if you didn't say clearly that you want to do your research as a PhD, if you don't say it while you are discussing with a lecturer, after that they will think you want to do research as an M.phil level. Okay, recommendation supervisor and head of department consent. Presentation, justifying the request for upgrading. You have to do, it's called upgrade presentation here. We call it upgrade presentation. For the upgrading, justify request for upgrading, explaining the intended additional here or your contribution, or sometimes usually we mostly the reason is there is some one more reason. If you could give strong and solid reason, they will accept it. So usually the student, they said, I already completed 50% of my research. And then the my research is more deeper than I expected like that. So such a reason, they're here, very often they're here. When the student do their upgrade presentation, usually such a reason. Usually they hear such a reason. So now I notice they don't want to accept such a reason as upgrading. So you have to find out the other solid reason to upgrade your research into PhD level. Usually we give us, we say the student, my research is more deeper than I expected, and also I want to add one more chapter to my research like that. So such a reason they don't want to accept anymore. When we are given such a reason, they were smiling. I noticed. But sometimes, even though they know, they accept it. For some lecturer, some researcher, they have understanding for student level. They said we are just students. So students are students. Student understanding is a student level, not a lecturer level. It's different. Therefore, even though they know the reason, they give the permission, they give the approval to upgrade your research. But anyway, you must have solid and enough reason to upgrade your research into PhD level. Reason to upgrade your research: reasoning, argument, adding more chapter. Usually these three, argument is enough. Reason and argument, these two are enough. Adding more chapter is now it seems weaker. It seems a little weak. Okay, next slide, please.